All right, Rohan Patel, comic book movie. Hi, Meera. How are you?
Hi, Rohan. Good. How are you?
I'm well, thank you. It's a pleasure to be talking to you. I wanted to get the hard-hitting questions out of the way first, but so as you can see behind me, what would you say Shah Rukh Khan's best movie actually is? Because I was kind of surprised to hear Bazigar, even though it's a great movie.
I can't see what's behind you. What poster is
Oh, I
behind
had a couple poster, Dawn 2 poster, and
you?
a
Dawn.
lot of books. But
I
yeah, but
it's funny that you I mean for me it's Devdas just because that's like maybe my age or I was exactly like the I was maybe like a late in my late teens and just angsty enough for Devdas to be like, just the ultimate kind of
yeah,
romance slash tragedy that captured my heart. But they're all
yeah.
they're all pretty great. They're right. I think DDLJ is conventional wisdom, the best Shah Rukh Khan movie.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I love the reference, and because you can really connect to that. But like you had experience working on Punisher a couple years ago, and then this is a completely different kind of show. So did that
Yeah.
like experience inform this experience at all, or was this just like back to square one?
Not really. Every story is its own thing, and every show I do has its own language and has its own entry point into the characters. So only insofar as like every action driven show that I do, every experience I have shooting action sequences gives me more preparation experience and an understanding of the intricacy of approaching those kind of sequences. So that's really the only place I'd compare the two. But at the end of the day, everything to me, yeah, they're just completely different experiences on a number of levels. Yeah.
Awesome. And so like Kamala, Iman's wonderful as Kamala. So like
Yeah.
when in the writers' room and with the directors with Adil and Bilal also, it's like what kind of conversation do you have about South Asian representation? Because South Asia is a huge place. Like it's
Yeah.
Africa, you can go to India, Pakistan, everywhere. So like what kind of conversation where you're like you have to make this really her like unique journey of being a Pakistani American and as well as being like relatable to like a South Asian in
like
America.
like you said, South Asianness is not a monolith. It's also, like it covers so many different geographical regions that, if Kamala's family is from Pakistan, they're dealing with this backstory of their, family having been caught up in in the trauma of partition. That is all very like regionally specific in the broader South Asian experience. So I think by being very as specific as possible is the only way to be universal and be able to really connect with people in a broader sense. So our job was to just really hammer in on what was specific about Kamala and Kamala's family story, being from Pakistan, having immigrated at the time they immigrated from, now living in Jersey City. The extent to which I connected to Kamala was that I am a child of South Asian immigrants that grew up in New Jersey and am as American as any other
Mhm.
kid that's grown up in America. And I think that's how Kamala feels. She's caught between the world of her family and the world of this place that she doesn't know that well, that her family's from, but that she's really being raised within in terms of community, and the space that she wants to be in, which is the Marvel universe, the Avengers, American pop culture, just being a kid, growing up in New Jersey in high school and just wanting to love the things that she loves and just immerse herself in the things that she loves. So being caught between those worlds, I think, is a specific story to first generation immigrant kids,
Mhm.
and that was the part of it that I definitely felt I related to the most and wanted to find some authentic representation for.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I know. I have a lot of cousins that grew up in New Jersey. I grew up in North Carolina, so it was a little different for me. But I like it's very easy to relate wanting to go to high school parties and stuff like that.
Yeah,
But
I mean, there's all
yeah,
that kind of broad stuff too. I think but you're right. Like when you're South Asian growing up in New Jersey versus North Carolina versus Texas versus Palo Alto, like they're all
yeah,
different experiences. And for Kamala, that first moment in the episode, in episode one, where she's driving in the car, looking at the skyline of the city and seeing Captain Marvel fly above it. I mean, that is so relatable to any kid growing up in the suburbs of a big city, but
hmm
certainly any kid growing up in Jersey. You stare across that river onto the New York skyline your entire life, kind of wanting to be a part of that thing that,
Yeah.
you're barricaded from by bridges and tunnels and the Hudson River.
Yeah, yeah. And like Kamala, like she loves Captain Marvel, she loves the MCU, but like she sees it like how we see it in like the real world. But did it help you? I think Shang-Chi and Moon Knight also like recently benefited from not necessarily being beholden to what came in MCU Pass and being able to like carve your own corner of the MCU. Did that kind of help you as you were crafting this story with everyone?
Yeah, I mean, I think that everyone at Marvel and, like everyone involved with the show really made a point to make us feel as the directors and as all the creative people that were involved in their little corners of it. And my little corner was just these 2 episodes, that we were there for a specific reason and for the things that we specifically brought to the show, and to not feel like we had to fall in line to any one idea of what the show needed to be. And I think that's why the show feels so textured, is that there are a lot of different influences that had input on this show. And I think that Marvel very intelligently let all those creative voices thrive in order to create that kind of melting pot of an experience.
Awesome. And so like I'm very because I've always wanted to direct as well, but it's like as you it's not it's an atypical path for South. Like as I'm trying to put it as
Yeah.
bluntly as possible. Like my parents did not want me to pursue film in any capacity when I was growing up.
Yeah.
Now they're a lot more comfortable. So what was it like for you to like embrace being a director and embrace like creating your own opportunities? And now like we're seeing like there's opportunities for Asian American, there are opportunities for South Asian American. There's all these different kinds. The Marvel's even creating. And so like, what was that? What's that like been like for you? Just coming up.
Yeah, I mean, my parents also did not want me to pursue this for a living. My dad was always like, you can keep it as a hobby. I was like, how do
Mhm.
you, filmmaking is a
Yeah.
very expensive hobby. But like Kamala, I mean, I think this is why her story is so relatable to the first generation immigrant experience. Like your parents came here, worked hard to give you all these opportunities, and then you tell them you want to be an Avenger, you tell them you want to be a filmmaker. Like it's just as fantastical
Yeah.
possibly to wake up one day and tell your mom and dad you want to be a director. So I think I spent a lot of time like Kamala, kind of hiding what my true passion was and hiding what I really wanted to be from my family. And my growing up and coming of age and stepping into who I wanted to be was a process of summoning the bravery to do exactly that, which is why I think her story feels so relatable.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Mira. I really appreciate this. It's been a lot of fun.
Same. Nice meeting you.
Nice meeting you too.